To vote no on this rule and no on the underlying legislation, and I reserve my time.
Gentleman's time is reserved. Gentlelady from Minnesota.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And there is so much to unpack and to object to in the ranking member's opening statement, but I just want to comment on one of the issues. And I find the statement that Republicans were on vacation laughable. The idea that Republicans were on vacation during the shutdown, it's just simply false. It's false. Many of us were in Washington, or we were in our districts meeting with constituents, advancing local priorities, and staying fully engaged with our constituents and our work. Our dedication to serving the American people didn't pause during the shutdown. Whether in DC or back at home, which for the record, I was in both places, and many of my Republican colleagues were too, we were doing the work we were elected to do. And the real story here is not about the absence, it is about the commitment. And for Republicans, we never wavered. If the Democrats cared so much about working, they would not have shut the government down. And with that, I would like to yield 4 minutes to the gentlewoman from North Carolina, the esteemed chairwoman of the House on Rules.
Gentlelady from North Carolina, Ms. Fox, is recognized for 4 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I thank the gentlewoman for yielding. Mr. Speaker, psychologists have a word for the things the Democrats accuse us of: projection. Mr. Speaker, I sure hope you did not watch all 7 hours of the Democrat group therapy session last night in the Rules Committee. But if you did, you saw what a clown show it was. It was a crisp 40 degrees outside when we adjourned at around 1:30 a.m. this morning, but with the amount of hot air being spewed by Democrats in the committee room for 7 straight hours, you would have thought we were in the dead of summer. Mr. Speaker, at this point, I don't think Democrats really agree on anything. Last night and into the early hours of this morning, they showed everyone that they couldn't even agree on what they're angry about. They went off on so many tangents that it would have been a miracle if they arrived at a single coherent thought at any point during our meeting. The American people will see the exact same thing play out from them during this debate and during general debate on the floor later today. Apparently, the only thing Democrats can agree on is that the government needs to stay shut down, and that the American people need to suffer even more than they have already made them suffer. We heard from Democrats repeatedly about the millions of people they believe are going to be affected when their own temporary COVID credits sunset at the end of this year. Their own temporary COVID credits. Did we hear anything about the millions of Americans who got walloped by Democrats when they shut the government down? Did we hear an apology from Democrats to the American people for deliberately misleading them over 40 days? Did we hear an admission that the only reason they shut down the government is to cover up for a catastrophic policy failure that they concocted and set an end date on? No, we didn't hear one of those things. Not one. Mr. Speaker, I'm not surprised. This is the kind of behavior that Americans have come to expect from Democrats. Has anyone ever noticed how Democrats have developed such a visceral reaction when confronted about their abdication of responsibility? They shut the government down, and the moment you call attention to their own actions, all they do is obfuscate and start shrieking about unrelated things. Scientists should study this at length and try to come up with a cure. It's a serious affliction, as was evidenced numerous times over in our Rules Committee meeting. It's well past time to reopen the government and end the Democrat-concocted nightmare that Americans have been living through for over 40 straight days. The CR before us will end that nightmare. It will get this legislative body and the entire nation moving once more. Democrats should grow a spine and accept responsibility for their own failures. I urge a yes vote on the rule, and I yield back.
Reserve.
Gentlelady from Minnesota reserves her time remaining. Gentleman from Massachusetts is recognized.
Mr. Speaker, you got to love these Republicans. The gentlelady from Minnesota says they weren't on vacation. I want to remind her, you haven't voted for 8 weeks. And most people define vacation as you don't have to show up to work and you get paid. That's exactly what Republicans did. They didn't show up to work and they got paid. It was a paid vacation. I now yield 1 minute to the gentlewoman from Texas, Ms. Johnson.
Gentlelady from Texas is recognized for 1 minute.
Thank you so much. I rise today in strong opposition to this bill. I'm a hell no on any legislation that strips health care away from millions of Texans.
What the hell happened that everybody mad? What the hell is going on? I'm like, I stay away for a day or two, and these people losing their mind. What the hell is everybody mad for? All of them getting what they want. They getting all the money they want. They getting all the vacation they want. They getting everything they want. They don't give a damn what we get. They don't give a damn about us. Why y'all all mad? Everybody pretending to be outraged. Y'all notice that everybody's pretending to be mad, and they all doing the bullshit. They all in on it. All of them.
In my district, nearly 100,000 of my constituents rely on the Affordable Care Act's tax credits to pay for their coverage. Without these life-saving credits, many of them will go without health care at all. Every day during this shutdown, my office has heard from thousands of families across my district saying, for the love of God, save my health care. And tucked away in this bill is a brazen payoff. Millions of taxpayer dollars.
That's why I'm done with them all. They all are in on it. It's just a game for them, back and forth, for all of them to get paid and get kickbacks from the money we give them.
Dollars funneled to the benefit of a handful of senators, while families are struggling to afford groceries and health care. We are being asked to sign off on a deal that lines the pockets of the very people who wrote it. That is an insult to every hardworking taxpayer who expects honesty from their government. The contrast could not be clearer. Republicans are operating in the currency of cruelty and corruption, while Democrats are fighting with courage and compassion. The American people deserve better, and I will never stop fighting to protect the basic necessities every family needs to survive. I yield back.
Gentlelady from Minnesota.
Mr. Speaker, I yield 2 minutes to the gentleman from Georgia.
Gentleman from Georgia is recognized for 2 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And, the American farmer needs this bill to pass. The American soldier needs this bill to pass. Our air traffic controllers need this bill to pass. The men and women who protect us here in this Capitol and all federal law enforcement need this bill to pass. I'm one of those who represents a lot of federal employees, and they've been without a check for a long time, Mr. Speaker. This is very simple, very simple. It's way past time to open the government up. There are going to be a lot of excuses about coulda, shoulda, woulda, and you need to take this provision or that provision out, or they're going to vote to keep the government shut down. Well, let me tell you something. The vote today, it is straight up or straight down. You vote to open the government up today, or you vote to keep it closed. That's all there is to it. Now, as for the provision that's been mentioned a few times about the Senate language, I have introduced a piece of legislation already to repeal the Senate language, and I'm hopeful that we'll have a vote on that as soon.
Repeal the Senate language. Repeal the bill that the Senate brought over. The Senate kept whining about a clean CR. That's why we knew the Republicans were lying. They lied. They sent over a bill that has free money in it that all of them are going to get kickbacks from. That's how I knew the Republicans were lying to the American people. That's what this guy in the blue is a Republican. He says he's about to put a CR through. He's about to put an amendment through to get that damn money, that kickback money off of the bill. They just lying. They just getting all of our money. They've been lying. All of them been lying.
As soon as we get back, Mr. Speaker, I yield the remainder of my time.
Reserve.
Gentlelady from Minnesota continues to reserve her time. Gentleman from Massachusetts.
Mr. Speaker, I don't love these guys. I mean, they're all introducing legislation to repeal provisions in a bill that they're going to vote yes on. I mean, you figure that out. Mr. Speaker, the previous question is the House Democrats' last attempt to make a change to this rule before it gets voted on. And I want to use this opportunity to talk about a last-minute provision that was slipped into the CR in the Senate. It's an outrageous giveaway to pad the pockets of 8 Republican senators. And it's one of the most corrupt things I've seen in my...
None of them don't want, I bet if it don't go through, you got to start this shit all over again. They all know it's a lie. They all know it's a kickback. They all know they gonna get money from it. This is the whole thing. This is bullshit. This bill should not go through at all. This is a kickback for all of them. This is what John McCain couldn't stand. Pork being put into bills. Off the top, the Republicans lied.
My life. So if the House defeats the previous question, I will offer an amendment to the rule to consider as adopted an amendment to the continuing resolution offered by Representative Subramanian which would strike the corrupt giveaway out of the text of this bill so it does not make it into law. Mr. Speaker, this is a massive payday for Republicans. It would allow 8 of their senators to shovel millions of dollars into their own wallets. I'm talking cash money, not for their states, not for their constituents. No, for their own personal bank accounts. Why should a United States senator or any party get a special right that nobody else has? No state legislator, no governor, no judge, no citizen in the entire country has this right. But we are creating it for a handful of Republican senators. It is immoral. It is, I'd say it's unconstitutional. It is wrong. And it's probably the most brazen.
Why are you standing there talking about the Democrats want your money, Sheila Zombie, when you just heard it's the Republicans that are getting the kickback? It's Republicans that are getting the kickback. Stop talking about Democrats. The Republicans are getting this kickback.
Theft and plunder of public resources ever proposed in the United States Congress. And it was tucked into this legislation. And I want to speak directly to Republicans who say they can't vote with us because it will delay the reopening of the government. First off, that's exactly what these corrupt senators were hoping you'd say. Second, we absolutely can send this back to the Senate. They can quickly strip it and send the bill to the president. They finished this package in less than 2 days. This is one small thing that needs to be deleted. It's easy and it can be done very fast. But, and please spare me the excuses that we'll get this done next week with a new bill. Once this is law, that's it. It is signed into law forever. It will never change. It is permanent, and you voted for it. And Republicans all know that. So don't say you're going to pass some new bill next week to address this. That's just an excuse to do nothing that will fix it. Republicans moved at the speed of light to give tax breaks to billionaires, and the least they can do is give the same urgency to stop this shamelessly corrupt fleecing of the American people. Now, I get it. Trump is suing the U.S. government for $230 million.
The whole point was the Republicans lied. The Republicans lied. Now we are past the Democrats slowing this down. We are past the Democrats shutting down the government. We passed that. Now, at the midnight hour, the Republicans shove into the bill millions of dollars that they gonna get because they can just get the money just like Trump is asking for 250. Stop it, this shit, Sheila. We're not fucking talking about Democrats now. We're talking about the corrupt fucking Republicans right now. The corrupt Republicans right now. They said they were gonna pass a clean CR. And then at the midnight hour, they put something in the bill that means all of them get kickbacks. You Republicans don't never want to hold your people accountable. Never want to hold your people accountable.
And I guess these senators want in on the action. They want their own payday. But I've never seen this.
What the fuck are you talking about, Sheila? We can hear them saying what the fuck is going on right now. What the hell are you talking about? Don't you believe your lying ears? Don't you believe what they saying? All of them are saying? Man, some of y'all just be goofy, be saying anything.
Level of grift, shameless corruption, and theft of public money in my entire life, ever. So, Mr. Speaker, I ask unanimous consent to insert the text of my amendment into the record along with extraneous material immediately prior to the vote on the previous question, and to discuss our proposal. I yield a minute to the gentleman from Virginia, Mr. Subramanian.
Without objection on the UC request, the chair will remind the gentleman from Massachusetts and others to please refrain.
I'm just trying to figure out, is Molly over here caping for rich people? I just want to know, are you over here caping for rich people? Poor people over here taking fucking caping for rich people. And the Republicans scramming money out of us regular, ordinary, individual people. Molly over here caping for fucking rich people. What fucking L? An L that you're taking too, dumbass? Are you taking the L too? They're taking your money too. That's the problem. Why are y'all always worried about what the fucking libs are doing? And look at this shit. I can't believe poor people be caping for rich people. They worried about me instead of worrying about what the fuck their money is doing. Just wow. Taking your money. You got scammed by a rich man who gave your money to other rich men. And these goofies over here talking about take the L. That's wild. That's wild.
From engaging in personality Senate. Gentleman is recognized.
That's wild.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Ranking Member McGovern. I mean, you know what people hate more than seeing their costs go up? It's seeing their costs go up while corrupt politicians line their pockets with taxpayer money. That's what they really hate. But that's what this bill does. Republican senators slipped into this bill a legal pathway for them to personally receive millions of dollars in taxpayer money for being investigated after January 6th. And the other side talks about fiscal responsibility and says there's no money for health care, but somehow there's taxpayer money for Republican senators. This is an ethics violation. This is a breach of trust, and it calls into question the very legitimacy of this institution. So I put forward an amendment to reject this corruption, but committee Republicans voted it down last night, and they said they knew it was corrupt, but that there was nothing that could be done, and that the system didn't work. Well, you are the system. And House Republicans promised to vote on this next week as a standalone bill, but there's no guarantee that the Senate will act. In fact, they probably won't act, right? So you have the power to join us in righting this wrong today. So let's take it out this ridiculous kickback. Otherwise, a vote for this bill is a vote for corruption. I yield back.
Gentleman yields back. Gentlelady from Minnesota.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And I never said, Mr. Speaker, that this bill was perfect. And not everyone agrees with the provision.
Yeah, please give me my snapback. Please give me my snapback, grown. Please give me my snapback while I sit in my 20 by 30 room bedroom. Please give me my snapback. Please do that. Please. I need my money.
And our colleague from Georgia had just mentioned and is already addressing it. But what we do agree on is that it is critically important to get the government open. And that's why we are here.
And they know, and the Republicans know that the House Republicans are different. The Senate Republicans are fucking corrupt. They're the ones who put this new provision, a small provision in the bill. They said they were going to pass a clean CR. They're trying to pass a CR with this kickback to all of the fucking senators in it. That's wild. That's wild. And they doing it right in front of the American people. And we got goofies in here talking about, why don't you give HQ her food stamps back? Just goofy.
Here today, getting our federal employees paid, getting our troops paid, getting SNAP back on track, getting our airports back to full capacity. Once this happens, we can tackle the issues and get back to really doing the things for the American people, not using their suffering as leverage, like the Democrat Whip Clark is willing to do.
The Americans get rolled. Americans get rolled by the Republicans. The Americans get rolled by the Republicans, the most corrupt political party on the planet. They get rolled, and the maggots love it. They love it.
Do. Democrats have spent weeks performing political theater by refusing to open.
We get rolled. We Americans get rolled by you motherfuckers and Democrats. We get rolled. Everybody got rolled. Every regular American got rolled today.
Government and continue to perform.
By the most corrupt party there is. The American people just got rolled by the Republican Senate. By the most corrupt body of government we have seen in years. The American public got rolled.
That political theater. But we need to prioritize the reopening of the government and stop the suffering that the Democrats want to use as leverage. And with that, I yield 2 minutes to the gentleman from New York.
Gentleman from New York is recognized for 2 minutes.
Mr. Speaker, I rise in strong support of this rule and ending this shutdown chaos. For more than 40 days, the American people have endured a painful and entirely avoidable government shutdown. Not because of policy differences, but because Senate Democrats and Chuck Schumer chose politics over people. And while Washington stalled, hardworking Americans paid the price. Our air traffic controllers went without pay. A system stretched thinner by the day, putting new strain on that system that put millions of lives at risk. Americans depend on them.
We gonna scream this shit from now on till November. We gonna scream this shit from now on to November. The Republicans lied. The Republicans lied about the whole thing. It was just a scam to get the money. It was a scam to get the money jammed into the bill. We gonna say this shit until November. Say it to every freaking person that we can hear. We gonna say it. The Republicans lied to scam the American people out of money.
To keep our skies safe. In families who rely on SNAP and WIC, parents just trying to feed their kids were left
all on the freaking same team. So the Republicans just scammed Americans out of millions of dollars. Just scammed them out of millions of dollars.
Wondering how they'd make it through another week. And at the same time, our border agents and our Coast Guard members, they continued to serve this country as their own families went without pay. And through it all, while everyday Americans carried the weight of the shutdown, Senate Democrats had chance after chance to end it. But instead, they chose to prolong the pain. That is not leadership. That's hypocrisy. It was never about budgets or priorities. It was about power. It's not about turning government on. For them, it's about turning government into performance, where the people paying the highest price are the ones furthest from Washington. For more than 40 days, families were used as political pawns and props, while those responsible stood in front of cameras pretending to solve the crisis that they created. I actually saw a member from my home state stand at a food bank, decry the fact that nutritional assistance was in question, then swear up and down that they would vote against ending this shutdown. That is the epitome of hypocrisy.
And when the Democrats caved and said it's enough suffering for the American people, the Republicans kept screaming about, we want a clean CR. We want a clean CR. We're going to pass a clean CR. What did they do in the middle of the night? The Republicans put in a bill that says they're going to give millions of dollars to the Republicans in the Senate. Millions of dollars to the Republicans in the Senate. On top of the fact that all of the people's premiums, healthcare subsidies are going to skyrocket because they didn't want to give it to them. They wanted to give themselves the money. You think they just thought of giving the money to themselves? They just started this kickback yesterday? They been tried to put the money in there. They been were going to put it in there. They did it in the midnight hour. So would nobody be able to say or even think about it? Because most people would have been tired. They voted late. Nobody read the bill like they were supposed to, and they snuck it into the bill. Wow. Mm-mm. Wow, that's fucked up, y'all.
Hypocrisy.
We gonna scream it to the high heavens until next year.
And the American people deserve better than that. House Republicans did our job. We passed a clean continuing resolution weeks ago. The same kind of straightforward measure that should have been agreed to immediately to keep this government open. But Senate Democrats blocked that.
Yeah, and so they blocked it, and so they passed one last night, and they said it was going to be a clean one. But they didn't pass a clean one. They passed one with scamming money in it. So you should be mad at the House, the Republican Senate. Why you mad at the Democrats? It's over and done with. Your bosses, your Senate people are scamming the American people out of millions of dollars.
14 times, prolonging this shutdown just to score points to their woke, angry mob. This measure before us today is the same bipartisan framework they could have passed 40 days ago. The only thing that has changed is the political calendar. So, Mr. Speaker, I urge my colleagues to support the rule, stand with the American people, the families of veterans and public servants who have carried the burden of this shutdown, and let's reopen our government, and let's get this country moving again. And I yield back, Mr. Speaker.
Gentleman from Massachusetts.
Mr. Speaker, I ask unanimous consent to insert into the record an article from ABC News entitled, "Inflation Climbs to the Highest Level Since January, Beef Prices Soar."
You sound retarded, Rudy. And I'm just going to say it straight out. You sound like you're retarded. What HQ won't tell you is the Democratic Party want to replace you with illegals. You sound like a tard, and I'm not even going to address it anymore. Only tards would say some shit like that.
Objection.
I request unanimous consent to insert into the record an article from the Washington Post entitled, "From Groceries to Gas, Americans Say They're Spending More Under Trump."
Without objection.
I ask unanimous consent to insert into the record an article from the New Republic entitled, "No, You're Wrong. Trump Spirals When Pressed on Rising Food Prices."
Without objection.
I ask unanimous consent to insert into the record an article from the New Republic entitled, "Trump Admits He Doesn't Care About Affordability as Economy Plunges."
Without objection.
I ask unanimous consent to insert into the record an article from MSNBC entitled, "Not a Big Issue. Republicans Shrug as Consumers Confront Healthcare Sticker Shock."
Without objection.
I ask unanimous consent to insert into the record an opinion article published in MSNBC entitled, "Trump's Argentina Bailout Once Again Puts America Last."
Without objection.
I ask unanimous consent to insert into the record an article from PBS.
But the whole point here, Osmos God, the point is they lied to the American public. They lied to the American public. And what did they do? They lied for one. They said they were going to pass a clean CR, and they didn't. They said, we're going to pass a clean CR 13 times. They did it 14 times. And on the last time, they put kickbacks to specific Republicans. Don't you think that those Republicans who put it in the bill are going to get kickbacks from the money? They lied. They lied. They said it was, how am I lying? Pause. I agree with you to a point. They said they were going to pass a clean CR. There ain't nowhere that I'm lying. You can go back all these weeks and say, we're going to pass it. Hear them say, we're going to pass a clean CR. So why is it that in the midnight hour, they're going to put in millions of dollars in kickbacks to several senators for nothing? Why would they do that? Why would they do that? Because they had it planned all along. They had it planned all along. Kickbacks, yes. Because they're saying it right now. They're saying it on the floor. The bill that the Senate sent over to the House, they passed the bill last night through the Senate. In the bill is in the bill, there's a provision, a pork spending saying, or a bill or something in there, something saying that these 8 senators can get $500,000 if they want to sue the government. Like you see how the president wants to get $230 million from the government. These 8 senators can get $500,000 minimum from the government if they want to sue the government. if the government does X, Y, and Z. This they can do because this bill will be law. So they can get the money. So it basically means they're going to get the money. $500,000 minimum, 8 senators. So they can sue for 3, 4, 5, 10 million, and they can get the money. That's the whole point. The point was the Republicans said that they were going to pass a clean CR. That's why the Democrats caved. So the Democrats caved, and then you stick this into the bill before when everybody's done, they're signing it. Yes, 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 we go for this bill. And then all of a sudden, this provision, this little caveat is in the bill, and the House Republicans find out that it's in the bill, and now the House Republicans are mad. All of them are mad, but they saying, damn, if we say no to this bill, then we got to start this clock all over again. So we ain't saying no to the bill. They know the Senate lied. They didn't get no money. The Republicans didn't, House of Republicans didn't get no money. Only the Senate Republicans got money. They all mad because these motherfuckers got them, they own selves a big payday on the backs of the American people. And
Yes, entitled.
We got people in this chat caping for these motherfuckers scamming us out of money. They scam the American public out of money. The fuck wrong with y'all?
Trump administration working on doubling Argentina financing to $40 billion.
Without objection.
I ask unanimous consent to insert into the record an article from Forbes entitled Presidency Boosts Trump's Net Worth by $3 billion in a Year.
Without objection.
I ask unanimous consent to insert into the record an article from People.com entitled Donald Trump hosts Great Gatsby themed Halloween party as 42 million Americans brace for SNAP benefits to expire.
Without objection.
I ask unanimous consent to insert into the record an article from the New York Times entitled Trump.
The whole point was MAGA was saying, we want to upset the system. We want somebody not to be corrupt. We want somebody to come in and shake everything up. They ain't shaking nothing up. They're scamming us out of money. What do you mean? This is why I don't like y'all MAGAs, because y'all don't know why I push back on y'all party. This is something you should push back on. You should tell them to pass a clean CR instead of giving them Do you understand what I'm saying? The minimum these senators can get is $500,000. That means they can ask for whatever amount of money they want, and we gotta pay it as the taxpayer. We gotta pay it.
Trump's latest White House makeover to Lincoln bathroom in marble and gold.
Without objection.
I ask unanimous consent to insert into the record an article from The Nation entitled The Bill to End the Shutdown is.
We ain't talking about Obama, Goofy, Peter. We talking about them scamming us out of money right now. Get into the fucking game.
Full of giveaways to Republicans.
Without objection.
Mr. Speaker, I yield
Not right now, Goofy. Not right now.
myself 15 seconds.
Gentleman is recognized for 15 seconds.
I'm sorry that the gentlelady thinks that trying to stop people's health care premiums from doubling and tripling and quadrupling is political theater, but we don't. And I don't have time to address all the.
I bet you we don't get that $2,000. I bet you we won't get that $2,000 they've been bitching about. You heard that in the news. We supposed to get $2,000. I bet you we won't get that $2,000. I bet you we won't. I bet you we won't. Because that money should go to us American people. I bet you we won't. They just scammed us out of millions of dollars right then.
BS coming from my colleagues across the chamber. But it's clear that this Republican leadership is not only failing to.
No, we not. Because I ain't blind to no Democrat if a Democrat gonna scam me out of my money. If they gonna scam me out of my money like this, I would have said that. But I ain't seen not one time that a Democrat said, oh, let's put billions of dollars in there so we can scam them out of the money. Be blatant with it.
Deliver on their promises. They're selling out at the expense of the basic needs of the American people. I reserve.
Time is reserved. Gentlelady from Minnesota.
I know everybody heard that. I know everybody heard that they supposed to give us $2,000. That dude who's in charge of the Fed, that Fed dude said, we ain't getting no $2,000. He said we ain't getting no $2,000. Ain't no $2,000 to get, according to the dude, the Fed dude, and he the one in charge of the money. Get into the game.
Soto.
Mr. Speaker, I yield 2 minutes to the gentleman from Texas.
Gentleman from Texas, Mr. Roy, is recognized for 2 minutes.
Thank the gentleman from Arkansas. I thank the gentlelady from Minnesota. And here we are on September 19th. House Republicans passed legislation which would have funded government through November 20th. Here we are on November 12th, and
This man right here said, I know what the Senate Republicans did was wrong. I know them putting this money in the bill, this last minute money grab in the bill is wrong, but I got to vote for it. Otherwise, we got to start all over again. Let's see if he admitted to the American public right now.
we are basically where we would have been had we just passed the bill that we passed in September.
We ain't getting none of that. See, the thing is, y'all ain't listening. This is just like Republicans. Don't nobody give a fuck about what happened 7 weeks ago. We're talking about what happened last night. What happened last night was the Democrats caved with their weak motherfucking asses. They caved. That's it. That's all. They caved. And then the Republicans put a provision in the bill that says us Republicans can get minimum $500,000 from the government, just like goddamn Donald Trump is getting $230 million. They getting minimum $500,000 from the government. They put that provision in there last night. Get into the goddamn game. We passed them shutting the fucking government down. They're trying to scam us out of money. And you all talking about some damn government will shut down. They're scamming us out of the fucking money. Listen to the damn, what they saying.
And what did we get for all of that? What happened over all these days? Well, my colleagues on the other side of the aisle were searching for a reason for voters to support them next November. They were searching for a cause. And we know this because there was intervening elections and a lot of rhetoric, but no.
Everything you're going to hear is about what the Democrats tried to do. No, we want to know about the money. We don't care about nothing else. Where's our goddamn money? Where's us Americans, our $2,000 or our $5,000, as a matter of fact? Where the fuck is our money? Everybody else getting money. Where's our money? That's what I want to know. That's why I'm listening to them right now. No, you mean to tell me that you've been in this game long enough and you don't understand that they're all lying? It ain't just Democrats. It's the Republicans, and the Republicans really lied last night.
No result. We're here right now with Democrats having joined senators to send a bill over here to fund government through the end of January with 3 appropriations bills, which we worked through regular order, that keep spending relatively flat.
No, yes. Trump said that he got donations to build that ballroom. He did get donations to build that ballroom, natural, but he also sued the DOJ for $230 million. And this is what that provision that they just put in the bill last night, the same thing. They just put in the bill that these senators can get $500,000 minimum from the government, because if they sue, minimum if they sue, but they don't want to give us $2,000 or $5,000 or anything else.
Flat advances the priorities the American people sent us here to advance, to back up the president who is securing the border, which he was sent to Washington to do, to restore our military to focusing on.
They donated that $300. They donated $300 million to help with that ballroom. But now they just snuck in money to get from our government, money that should be coming to us. Now, I want to see if we get our $2,000 or our $5,000. Let's see.
Defending this nation rather than advancing woke priorities, which the American people sent him here to do, for us to continue to work to grow and to build this economy after 4 years of being wrecked with reckless spending, but also abhorrent policies. The American people are now saying, what on earth were Democrats doing? And my Democrat colleagues' response is health care. because it's the only default position they have is the default to health care. And the fact is, it's because they broke the system so badly that they are now coming and asking us to have the Treasury print money to then give out in order to enrich insurance companies with massive subsidies. That's the actual fact. And the American people understand this. And they recognize that they don't want insurance companies to be enriched, but they want to be able to go get the doctor of their choice. The American people understand this, and so do we. And we're here to open the government, and we're here to stand up for doctors and patients instead of insurance companies and big regulators. I support this legislation. I know my Republican colleagues do. The question really is, will Democrats, or will they wish to perpetuate the shutting down of government to enrich insurance companies?
Do y'all know that they got 60 grand? Those 7 weeks they were out of work, they got 60 grand. They got a $30,000 check, and then they got another $30,000 check right before the House Democrats showed up. They've been getting money all this time. They've been getting money, and all our people have been going hungry, starving, no money, airport people quitting, them threatening airport people. No, they're scamming us out of money. They keep getting money after money after money from us. We need to stop these people.
Gentleman's time has expired. Gentleman from Massachusetts.
Well, a couple of things, Mr. Speaker. I don't think we want to be lectured by somebody who, over the years, has been the king of government shutdowns.
That's what he's doing. He's talking about distracting insurance. We ain't talking about insurance. Yes, they got 60 grand since we've been shut down in the government. 60 grand, $30,000 each check. They're getting money. And we over here fighting Democrat, Republican. No, they're all scamming us out of money. Don't y'all think that Chuck Schumer knew who was going to vote yes to the bill? Chuck Schumer went to the Democrats and said, hey, which one of y'all are retiring? Which one of y'all are not going to be here next year? Which one of y'all just got elected? We need y'all to vote for the bill. And those 8 people voted for the bill. So that was a game that Chuck Schumer was playing. Now the Republicans are playing a damn game, getting money from us taxpayers. And they've been getting 30 grand every 3 weeks. 30 grand every 3 weeks.
For a United States senator that pushed for a government shutdown and to object to the Affordable Care Act. But by the way, I just want to make it clear to everybody, this is a Republican shutdown. They control the White House, they control the House, they control the Senate. You know, this government shut down because they don't want to negotiate. It's their way of the highway. This is a Republican shutdown. They own it. I now yield 1.5 minutes to the gentleman from Maryland, the distinguished ranking member of the Judiciary Committee, Mr. Raskin.
Gentleman from Maryland is recognized for 1.5 minutes.
And thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Mr. McGovern. This bill, which they now call imperfect, contains the single most corrupt provision for legislative self-dealing that anyone in this chamber today has ever voted on. It is such an egregiously corrupt act of legislator self-enrichment and plunder of the taxpayer that not only...
Listen to Jamie Raskin. He's explaining that they're scamming money. The Republican senators put this provision for this kickback money in the Senate bill in the dead of night so that they would have to pay for it. Now we all in this bill, we all got to pay for this freaking money, this kickback money to all of them. That $230 million that Trump want, plus the money that they finna scam off the top. This is wild.
Only did
Jamie is going to explain it right now. Yeah, he's averse to a fight. He's a weak-ass Democrat, and he need to go.
Every single House Democrat opposed it in the Rules Committee last night, but multiple Republicans were denouncing it. That is, before they were summoned into a side room and instructed to vote for it, which they all proceeded to do. Now they're telling us, vote for it today, and they'll repeal it, well, maybe next week, or maybe the week after that, or maybe before Christmas, they'll repeal it. I've got a solution for you. If you don't like this corrupt provision, don't vote for it today. That will work. This is a great bill. A great bill that is, if you think 8 Republican U.S. senators should have a right to collect at least $1 million in a jackpot bonanza payoff from the taxpayers simply because they were subject to the exact same rules all other Americans were subject to and are subject to now. And they don't propose to change those rules for anybody else, not for more than 300 million Americans, not for the members of the House of Representatives, not for governors and mayors, but for themselves. They want to deal themselves a special legal privilege. In this Republican class war, Great Gatsby economy where
who is that? Black Wolf, you ain't been listening. I hate when people got to be re-explained everything. Why do we have to explain to you that they just put a provision in the bill, the Senate bill last night, that gives all of the Republicans, or 8 Republicans, a kickback of $4 million minimum, $4 million minimum, to skyrocket to whatever they want to sue for. They can get whatever they want. Why the hell is it somebody got to tell you to get into the game? Why is it the first reflex is to call this man a liar? He's not lying. What the hell are you talking about? They admitted it. Some of y'all just be talking. Don't even be listening.
where President Trump has made more than $3 billion since he reoccupied the White House, the federal building which he has proceeded to demolish in large part, where millions of Americans face losing their health care and their SNAP benefits. This provision,
and I guarantee you they're gonna try to screw us out of our $2,000. They're gonna try to screw us out of that $2,000. I'm telling y'all better get to going there and hollering at y'all senator and y'all representatives. I want my $2,000. Y'all got y'all money. We want our $2,000. We want our $5,000. That's what we want. We want our $5,000. That's what we want. They're going to try to screw it up. They're going to try to screw us out of it. I know.
Vision is an affront to our taxpayers, to the rule of law, to everyone who believes. Could I ask for 15 seconds more? It is an affront to everyone who believes that we in public office must be the servants of the people, not the masters of the people who get special legal rights and privileges and multi-million-dollar payoffs. People who think that they have a right to better treatment than everybody else, like Ghislaine Maxwell in their prison camp where she gets room service, puppy time, and special gym privileges.
Gentlelady from Minnesota. She reserves her time. Gentleman from Massachusetts.
I yield 1 minute to the gentlewoman from Oregon, Ms. Bonamici.
Gentlelady is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise today in opposition to this continuing resolution. I will not support a bill that will continue the Republicans' assault on Americans and their pocketbooks. At a time when Oregonians and Americans are already struggling with rising costs, this bill locks in devastating cuts to health care and drives up the cost, in many cases significantly. The assault on healthcare and the Republican shutdown more broadly, they're further proof that the first 10 months of this Trump administration have been chaotic, harmful, and completely out of touch with the needs of the American people. Donald Trump held an extravagant Great Gatsby party at Mar-a-Lago the night before SNAP benefits expired, while the administration and Republicans continue to ignore the needs of working families. That's not governing. They've abandoned their responsibility to bring down costs and grow the economy. And Mr. Speaker, this bill was already bad, but now they added this corrupt get-rich-quick scheme to give hundreds of thousands of taxpayer dollars to Trump-aligned senators. That is outrageous. Oregonians and Americans deserve better. My colleagues should listen to their constituents, vote.
Hey, what's his name? Grown, not shower. Why are we mad? Please explain why we're mad. Groaner, not shower. Nasty ass, in another word. Why are the Democrats so mad that we don't get our way? I would love to know what Americans are not going to get that they wanted to go their way. Because you seem to think this is a Democrat versus Republican instead of it being poor versus rich. because apparently you got your head in the sand. Why would us poor people be mad at these rich people who took our money? Please explain, because you're making no sense. You're over here caping for rich people. Shut your dumb ass up and get into the game.
No, and come back to the table and join us in the work to make healthcare affordable and accessible to all. I yield back.
Gentlelady from Minnesota, with 14.5 minutes remaining.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And Mr. Speaker, I yield 2 minutes to the gentleman from North Carolina.
Gentleman from North Carolina is recognized for 2 minutes.
This ain't nothing. If you don't know nothing, this is a rich against a poor. Don't come over here talking about caping for no rich people. They just screwed us out of a whole bunch of money. Screwed us out of a whole bunch of money. And you over here talking about Democrats didn't get what they want. What the hell you mean Democrats didn't get what they want? We talking about poor people getting what they need. What the hell is wrong with you?
Mr. Speaker, I rise today as we are in the process of ending the longest government shutdown in our nation's history, and to affirm that this Congress will get back to leading America into her next golden age. Over 40 days, that is how long the government has been closed. For over 40 days, Democrats here in this body and in the Senate have chosen chaos over our country. They chose to shut the government down because politics demanded it, not policy. The elites who dominate their party's decision-making are the ones least impacted by its decisions. Were the far-left activists and Democrats here in this body the ones not getting paychecks? No, Mr. Speaker. That was the air traffic controllers, our troops, and our Capitol police officers. When these same people passed Obamacare, were they the ones impacted by the law, or was it the middle-class teacher in North Carolina who could no longer keep their doctor? We all know the answer to that, Mr. Speaker. And across the nation, federal workers are working 2 and 3 jobs just to stay afloat.
People are working 2 and 3. The people who are working 2 and 3 jobs are the ones who need that health care. They need that health care. It has nothing to do with what we Dems win or lose. It's the poor people that are losing. The poor people are losing. These people need to go. All of these people need to go because they're too corrupt. They're too entrenched in Washington, and they're taking our money.
Also, Democrats could champion illegal aliens who exploit our compassion as they poison our communities with deadly fentanyl. That is not governing. That was extortion of the American taxpayer. But that ends today. Today, we are in the process of finally reopening the government, returning to the business of the people, and further implementing the mandate our constituents sent us here to deliver on. Democrats chose to have a month of political theater, but political shows don't do one thing to help make the cost of everyday items more affordable. It is time to govern and to focus on making America more affordable for the middle class. Mr. Speaker, I urge a yes vote on this rule, and with that, I'll yield back.
Gentleman from Massachusetts.
Mr. Speaker, we're getting lectured on governance by a guy who is just coming off an 8-week paid vacation. Give me a break. At this time, I'd like to yield 1.5 minutes to the woman from New Jersey, the next governor of New Jersey, Ms. Sherrill.
The gentlelady from New Jersey is recognized for 1.5 minutes.
Mr. Speaker, I rise in opposition to a rule for a bill that does nothing to protect over 450,000 New Jerseyans who will see their health care premiums skyrocket. I took my first oath to the Constitution when I was 18 and went to the Naval Academy. It's an oath to serve, to run toward the fight. And so I ran for Congress after I saw Washington Republicans attacking the Affordable Care Act. I promised I would take on the status quo. I would fight the big fights because that's what people expect of their leaders. That's what people deserve from their leaders. And I'm proud of the wins that I've delivered as your representative for New Jersey's 11th district. capping the cost of insulin and prescription drugs for seniors, funding the Gateway Tunnel, the PACT Act for veterans, flood mitigation projects, delivering for Picatinny Arsenal. You have trusted me, New Jersey, and last week you placed your trust in me again, electing me your 57th governor. So I ran on a similar promise to take on anyone and stop at nothing to lower cost and build opportunity for everyone. This will be my last speech in this chamber. I intend to submit my resignation next week and turn to protecting all of New Jersey. So my parting message to Jersey is thank you. To my staff, thank you for your dedication to serving the 11th District of New Jersey. To my colleagues, do not let this body become a ceremonial red stamp from an administration that takes food away from children and rips away health care.
30 seconds.
Gentlelady's given another 30 seconds.
That rips health care away from people and takes food away from children. To the country, stand strong. As we say in the Navy, don't give up the ship. Thank you, and I yield back.
Here's the thing. We know, everybody knows that ACA, Obamacare, needs work. Everybody knows that. Why is it that they don't want to fix it? That's what people need to be asking. Why is it that the Republicans don't want to fix it? Why? Because they don't want to give people health care. They don't want to pay for it. They don't want to help poor people pay for it. That's the bottom line. They want to keep all the money to themselves. You ain't seen no relief in your life since this president been president. You ain't seen no relief. No relief on gas, no relief on food, no relief on insurance, no relief on rent, no relief on nothing. I don't see why this person is allowed to continue to scam and get money from us. This whole body of people are allowed to get money from us like this. Okay? I don't know what you're talking about, Aaron. I don't even know what you're talking about. You sound goofy as hell.
Gentlelady from Minnesota reserves.
Yes.
Gentleman from Massachusetts.
Mr. Speaker, I yield 1 minute to the gentleman from Rhode Island, Mr. Magazzino.
Gentleman from Rhode Island is recognized for 1 minute.
Mr. Speaker, House Republicans are back from their 54-day taxpayer-funded vacation. But don't get me wrong, they do know how to work hard. When billionaires wanted tax breaks, they moved mountains to make it happen. When Argentina needed a $40 billion bailout to help Trump's buddy, they moved quickly to make it happen at the White House. But when
there's such things as averages, grown. There's such things as averages. Just goofy.
working people need help, when millions of Americans are...
Don't come over here talking about that trans and that gay and all that kind of weird shit. Don't come over here about that. We're not talking about that today. We're talking about getting money scammed off of us. We're talking about the poor people getting scammed by these people in this chamber. Shut your ass up, Jeb. If you can't come up here talking about why we getting scammed, don't talk about nothing. I don't want to hear nobody talk about no gay or no trans. That is the least of our fucking problems in this country.
Seeing their health insurance costs double and triple, and Americans all across this country are feeling...
Yeah, but Jeb, your Republicans just put a bill through instead of a clean CR, instead of it being clean, they jammed money in it that we the American taxpayer, have to pay $500,000 to 8 senators or less, or at the least scammed by our Republican Senate.
Like they're going to have to go without health insurance for the first time in their lives because they can't afford it anymore, and have to make that terrible decision about which of their family members they're going to cut off of their insurance. House Republicans are nowhere to be found. When Donald Trump's...
What the hell is that in that pink jacket back there? What the hell?
Stupid tariffs are raising the price of groceries. The cost of coffee is up 40% over the last year. House Republicans are silent. When working people need help, they are absent.
Hey, Tism, you're just a little bit better. You know, I still topsy-turvy here and there. And you see my voice is still deep.
Shameful. So they will work when billionaires need tax cuts, when Argentina needs a bailout, but when working people need relief, they go on a taxpayer-funded vacation. Shameful, Mr. Speaker. Vote no on this budget. Do not cut the health care of the American people, and I yield back.
Gentlelady from Minnesota.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I yield 1 minute to the gentleman from New York.
When I have a cold, my voice is always deep like this. It's like my body it's like a virus takes over. And then my voice is like really, really deeper. And I know when I'm better, when my voice gets normal. So it's sort of coming back to normal, but it's not there already. It's not there yet. I still lose breath.
From New York is recognized for 1 minute.
The reason we know this is a Democratic shutdown is because of how angry they are that we're about to reopen the government, period. That's all you need to know. In 2023, Jerry Nadler said shutdown is really an extremist policy designed to appeal to an extremist.
Yeah, but here's the thing. That new lady just got sworn in the office. Did any of those Republicans back down from signing that petition to get the Epstein files? Because the Epstein files should be released, because that lady came in to the house and she said she's signing them paperwork. So did anybody back down from signing the paperwork? That's the question.
Space and hold the whole country hostage. That is exactly what the Democrats have done over the last 43 days. They have held the American people hostage, trying to extract insane things like free health care for illegal immigrants. If they were serious about tackling the healthcare affordability crisis in this country, then they would address the fundamental problem with Obamacare. Since Obamacare took effect, healthcare premiums have risen by...
Y'all need to grow up. You really need to grow up. And better still, why don't you throw yourself down some stairs with your hands tied behind your back? Shut your ass up.
By 96%, and on the open market by 114%. When I asked Leader Jeffries to sign on to the 1-year extension of the premium tax credit, he refused. He stuttered, he stammered, he couldn't answer a single question, because this shutdown was never about health care. It was always about appeasing a far-left radical base. Chuck Schumer said, every day gets better for us. Catherine Clark said, of course people will suffer. We want to use this as leverage. It is an embarrassment to this country. You should all be ashamed of yourselves for inflicting this pain on the American people, taking away food stamps from 42 million Americans, defunding WIC, not paying our troops, our federal employees, our air traffic controllers. It's a disgrace, and you should all hang your heads in shame. Vote yes to pass the bill and reopen the government.
All right. Let me remind my colleagues.
Yeah.
I fully recognize that there's a lot of pent-up anxiety and emotions have been elevated somewhat, but please, in the interest of the decorum of this House, to direct your comments to the chair and do not engage in personalities toward the Senate, toward the President, and others. Gentleman from Massachusetts with 14 and 1/2 minutes remaining.
Yeah, well, Mr. Speaker, let me just say the gentleman from New York sounds as extreme as his voting record. And I'd like to say to the gentleman who just spoke, by supporting this bill, he's betraying 7,000 constituents in his district who rely on the ACA to afford their health care. Boy, I'm glad he's not my representative. At this time, I'd like to yield 1 minute to the gentleman from New York, Mr. Kennedy.
Gentleman from New York is recognized for 1 minute.
Mr. Speaker, as the representative of Western New York, where so many people in my community, like others across the country, are already struggling to afford health care, I urge my colleagues to reject this disgraceful bill. As an occupational therapist, I know exactly who these cuts will hurt. I've heard from so many who are desperate for a lifeline, like Iris, a mom in Buffalo.
Y'all don't understand. It's a lot of people on ACA. There's a lot of people on that health care. Right? And there's a lot of people who need that health care. That's wild. That's a lot of people on health care that need it. Those people between the salary of 15 and 30,000, like the Walmart people, IHOP people, gas station people, BP people, Quick Mart people, all those people, they need that, or they need that Obamacare. People keep whining and laughing about people losing their health care. Those people need that health care. What the hell is wrong with y'all?
Who's worried about how she'll keep her kids' health insurance. Or Andy, a nursing home resident in Tonawanda who relies on Medicaid to get the services he needs. Or the kids at Born Hava, a special needs school where I provided therapy, who depend on early intervention services. Donald Trump and congressional Republicans began their assault on the people of our country in the big ugly bill. This bill further devastates healthcare and leaves millions of Americans to pray they don't get sick. Shame on anyone who goes along with it. This country deserves better. I'll be voting no, and I urge all of my colleagues to do the same. I yield back.
The whole point is, not everybody is on health care. Not everybody is on health care. You got young people that are not on health care. You got all types of people that are not on health care. It's not a majority rule world, Mike Bivens. That's not how the country rules. That's not how it's supposed to go. Some people need health care. Okay? The whole point is, vote yes. There's nothing to vote with afterwards. Okay? But you cannot just say, because I can afford health care, this person who works 3 jobs shouldn't get health care too. There should be, that's why we have a government. So a government will offer services for the poor who aren't able to do things for themselves. No, I'm not uninformed. I'm saying, you're saying the majority rule. The majority doesn't rule on everything. Mike Bivens, that's the point. The majority doesn't rule in everything. Oh, okay.
Gentlelady from Minnesota.
Reserve.
Reserves. Gentleman from Massachusetts.
Come on up.
Mr. Speaker, some big news and breaking news in the last hour. I'm proud to say that our newest colleague, Representative Adelita Grijalva, just became the 218th signature on the Massey County.
The lady just signed the petition to release the Epstein files. Is it 218 people like we need? Let's see. He's going to say
Discharge petition to compel the release of the Epstein files. And to all my Republican colleagues who refuse to sign on, time is up. You need to figure out where you stand on this, because you're about to go on record. Is your loyalty to Trump more important than going after pedophiles? Because make no mistake, these files will come out. It is no longer a question of if, only when, and whether the White House chooses to stand with the survivors or throw them under the bus. And at this time,
now, there you go. So now we're going to see, we're going to see who Bill Clinton, we're going to see your president, all of that. We good. We good. Your president is a pedophile. It just is what it is. It is what it is. And we're going to see, because 218 people need to be signed on. And that girl just got sworn in and she just signed it. That's what he's saying. Pedophiles, you want to stand with pedophiles, or you want to hear the truth? Here's the thing. The girl just signed. She just signed, so that we got 218 people. So you're going to be on record. All of those people going to be on record as saying that they wanted to stand with the pedophiles instead of standing with the victims. We're going to see.
time, Mr. Speaker, I'd like to yield 1 minute to the gentlewoman from Oregon, Ms.
We know it ain't nothing, my brother. We know it ain't nothing. Even if it ain't your president in there, we know it's people that's in there. I don't know where y'all getting that from. Some of y'all goofy.
Dexter.
Gentlelady from Oregon is recognized for 1 minute.
Thank you, Mr.
We know he in there. That's right. We know he in there. Now they finna release. They had signed a petition. Petition is going forward. He's cooked.
Speaker. I rise today in strong opposition to this rule and the underlying bill. As a physician who spent 20 years saving lives, I did not come to Congress to let healthcare be decimated by Congress. I came to fight for my constituents who deserve to be able to see a doctor they trust, afford their medication, and keep their families healthy. If House Republicans let the ACA tax credits expire, they are complicit in forcing Oregonians to make impossible choices
like whether to keep their insurance or put food on the table. As a physician, I know what comes next. People go without. They go uninsured, they delay care, and they skip refills. They get sicker, and sometimes they end up in medical debt that is devastating. The cost of living is already too damn high. Republicans are committed.
We didn't see. Here's the thing, Mr. Michael Bivens. Mike Bivens, hey, your president promised you all that he would expose the Epstein file. He didn't promise, our president didn't promise us that we would see the Epstein file. Your president did promise. So when your president promised, he was supposed to deliver. When he was supposed to deliver, he scammed you goofy people on his side because he got you goofy people out here defending him. Only the goofy people are out here defending the pedophile president because he knew he was in the files. Okay? That's wild. Y'all out here defending somebody who like girls. Y'all wild.
To cutting your care. They patently rejected amendments.
Yeah, you're a waste of time, Michael Bivens. You're the goofy person.
To protect Americans, ignoring millions of American families who are desperate for relief. I will be an absolute no on the rule and the underlying bill, and I refuse to give up on ensuring affordable health care for all. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield back.
Gentlelady from Minnesota.
Why is he fighting so hard for the files not to be released? Somebody's in there that we need to know about. Somebody's in there that we need to know about.
Mr. Speaker, I just wanted to say just really quickly, the ranking member mentioned the discharge petition, and he's very proud that it has 218.
It's going to be your boy in the files, Anarchy. We're talking about your goofy boy in the files.
Signatures, but not that long ago, today, we had a UC that would have moved that along, would have moved that resolution along over to the Senate, and I believe the Democrats.
Luke Skywalker, I couldn't have said it better if I wanted to. I could not have said it better, my bro. I could not have said it better.
That's objected to it. So it seems more like a political stunt than it does that they actually wanted to have that resolution moved along, because if they had not objected, it would have gone on its way and they would have accomplished what they wanted to do. So I don't see their real desire to have the resolution passed. I see.
They already told us he was on the list, Cat Dot A, not A Tractor. They already told us that he was on the list already. We already knew he was on the list. Michael Bim, we already knew he was on the list. They said he was on the list. His Pam Bondi said he was on the list. Gregorio said he was on the list. Ash Patel said he was on the list. Yes, sir. You wanted to come. Yeah, can we hear you?
There we go.
Mm-hmm.
How y'all doing? I'm Tajay Murray. I'm
Hello,
a political activist and data center technician in Atlanta, Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, as y'all can see clearly, the jig is up. The jig is most definitely up.
Yes.
And I say that to say that the Republicans have been holding off on allowing this rightfully elected woman into her role just for the Epstein files. They've been holding this government hostage, and I'm gonna be honest with you, the Democrats capitulated because that's what they do.
Right.
Democrats have no backbone. That's why we lose. The people who vote Democrats have more backbone than the actual people in that office.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They do not. So
I'm right there with you. I right there with you. I am disgusted by the
shutting down the government was the only leverage the Democrats had to fight for everyone's health care. And what did the Republicans and Trump do? They started attacking federal workers. They started attacking SNAP benefits. And you know what these racist white people was thinking? Oh, black people get food stamps, we get SNAP.
Yeah, I know. I know.
Black people get Obamacare, we get ACA. What?
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's the game. So these rural Americans, that continuously vote against their own interests.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Now they're sitting here rooting, not rooting, but like Mike in the chat saying, there's nothing to see here. That's just what Trump said.
Yeah.
Trump ready for y'all to move on from this.
Right. So what do you think about? The fact that the Republicans just stuck that $500,000 bill or provision into the bill in the dead of night, so that the senators voted for it, that says that eight Republican senators can get at least $500,000 from the American public if they sue the DOJ or they sue the United States government. They gonna get that money. That's the
And they
minimum.
called that repercussions from quote unquote Biden weaponizing the Justice Department, and that's not what happened. I'm gonna be 100% honest with you. Do I feel like Merrick Garland was how can I put it? He went overboard, and I'm gonna be honest with you. No, Merrick Garland himself, the Attorney General under Joe Biden, did not go far enough. These
Mhm.
folks quite literally tried, and y'all, it is crazy to me how we all sat here on January 6th and watched what happened, and then they turn around and tell us that's not what happened.
No gaslighting. Try to
And
gaslight the whole country.
the whole entire country, like we just did not just watch this on. I was watching Trump's speech.
Mm-hmm.
And the only reason I was watching it is because he drew so much attention to it. He
Mm-hmm.
drew so much attention to that date because it was a specific date for him. Like it's crazy. But yes, like you were saying, I don't think Merrick Garland went far enough in the Justice Department.
No,
But
he didn't go. He didn't go. He didn't do it quick enough. He could have. He could have prosecuted Trump, but he didn't do
Mhm.
it quick enough. He didn't do it right after Trump got out of office. He did it years later, and then it took too long because Trump kept doing continuances, so we couldn't get him into court quick enough. That's
and
why.
that's exactly just for the attempt of trying to prosecute President Trump.
Right.
Now he's doing his retribution tour, and that's what those bills were. And not only, I'm glad you brought up the bill that was just passed because everybody hoop and holler about we always pass clean CRs, we always pass
Did
clean.
they not? Did they
It's
not
not
say that
clean.
every day?
This
Did they?
continual resolution is not clean. I do
Right.
not want nobody to think that it is. Mind you,
Mhm.
Democrats did not get nothing,
Nothing.
nothing promised to them for this bill. There's nothing in that continual resolution that the senators just passed that
Right.
is for the people. Nothing. It's just a
Nothing.
continuation of the big beautiful bill.
That's
Not
it.
not even that. Here's
Right.
something else to harm 23 states that have built industries off of the hemp market. It is
Mm-hmm.
a provision in that new
See
continuing resolution that was just passed
Mm-hmm.
that is to ban the sale of hemp products
Right.
because the alcohol and tobacco industry just lobbied y'all congressional representatives while they was on their 8-week break
Mm-hmm.
just so they could ban weed and
They
sell more
want.
liquor and cancer sticks to y'all.
You see how they screw. You see how they screw people, and then we got people over here caping for these rich folks who just screwed a whole bunch of people in more ways than one. Just
It
screw.
don't make sense to me. It really, really don't.
Mm-mm. I don't understand. But see, what I really think happened was the senators in the senators, Democratic senator. I believe they didn't read the fucking bill. And I believe
No,
that.
they didn't. Them 8 Democratic senators are
Mm-hmm.
plants. Them what you know what the Republicans call them rhinos,
Yeah,
Republicans in name only. Them are dinos.
yeah,
They
Dino.
are Democrats in name
Right,
only.
right, right.
Just like when we had I forgot his name, the older guy, the one
Uh,
that's against the filibuster and stuff
Lou
like that
Bernie?
from Virginia, from West Virginia.
Oh, West Virginia. Oh, man, Mancuso. Marcuso. It's something.
Senator Manchin.
Senator Mansion. Yeah, that's him.
Senator Joe Manchin
Yeah.
was a false Democrat. I don't want to hear it. And
Mhm.
yes, I understand the difference because somebody they's talking about it in the comments. Now I understand that the parties have switched and this and that and the third. Do
Right.
not get me wrong. But we still in the Democrat Party because we want to keep this tent so huge. Still got them old blue dog Democrats
Right.
that ain't nothing but Republicans today.
Yeah, but you know what? The Democrats stand for the things that I want to push this country forward. I damn sure don't want what Trump is doing. So ain't no way I would vote Republican in this
Oh,
atmosphere.
you couldn't pay me to vote Republican.
No.
You couldn't pay me. At
Not
all.
not after they pulled this stunt right here. Not after they pulled this stunt right. They
It's
kept
too much
screaming
of
about
them.
clean CR. Clean CR. They lied. Because what made wait a minute, here's my thing. Why would they put that in the bill after hollering about clean CR, clean CR,
Yep.
clean CR?
So why we can't pass a clean CR?
Yeah, because they never planned.
That was never the plan, y'all. None of
They
that
was
was.
waiting for the
Then watch
for
this, guys. We finna have this same issue in January.
at the end of January.
So this is my I want to point this out to Mike Bevins specifically.
Mm.
If Republicans can govern, why not just pass a bill, a budget? Why give us continuing resolutions over and over and over again? Because y'all can't negotiate. Y'all don't know how to govern.
Right.
It's that simple. Anytime Republicans are in power, they don't do nothing. Donald Trump passed 3 bills when he was in office. That's it. 3. He only was able to get 3 bills passed into law. And only one of them was bipartisan.
And here's one of the last things right here. If they cared about you,
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I just saw this comment.
If they cared about them, cared about the American people, why would y'all cut people off of Medicaid and Medicare and ACA? Why would
I'm glad you brought that up, because everybody in this last new argument, they saying for example, Aaron here says, who set the expirations on the ACA subsidies? Guys, it is called negotiating. Who didn't want the ACA subsidies? Republicans. Democrats wanted them. So to negotiate and get the bill passed, they put a term on it for Republicans to vote for it.
Mm-hmm.
Republicans never wanted the subsidy. We're not finna act like this is like, come on, y'all. Let's be for real. Let's use our critical thinking skills. Let's act like we had some type of literature course in high school.
Right.
If them people, you have to negotiate. And if I'm saying, okay, we need to do ACA subsidies. Well, I don't want ACA subsidies to stay forever. Okay, well, let's give the people a little relief, see what it does, and later on we could extend it if need be. Okay, I could do that. Later on comes, they don't want to extend it, they don't want to do nothing with it. They don't even want to give y'all a whole nother healthcare bill.
They ain't came up with no bill.
Nothing.
10
Nothing.
years. 10
Do
years.
I want to continue to subsidize insurance companies? Hell no.
No.
But do we have a better system? Do I want to see our ER rooms filled up with people who just got little boo-boos and bandages? No.
Every day. If that happens, every day.
That is exactly what you said. That is every day. That is going to be every day, because nobody is going to be able to afford health insurance.
Right. And then our stuff is going to start going up.
Here's the things that I don't understand about conservatives. Instead of you allowing the government, you know what I'm saying? I get it. It sounds so bad. But instead of you allowing the government to take 1%, or not even 1%, because the last estimates was 0.01% raised on all taxes from your paycheck, that could cover a universal health coverage system.
Right.
Instead of y'all doing that, y'all rather have $200-300 took out of y'all checks to go to health insurance companies. It's ridiculous.
Right. It would be cheaper for us to get a universal health care or a single payer health care. It would be one or the other. But nobody wants to do that because I don't want to pay for nobody else's insurance.
Blue cities are not getting subsidies, guys. We are subsidizing the country.
That's wild.
Like, it's crazy that you guys can't see that. We don't eat. Even these farmers, we're subsidizing farmers that don't feed us.
Every time they get in trouble.
Like, let's be for real. Let's really talk about it. We didn't capitalize our system so much that you can't recognize it from just a normal corporation to an actual country with real culture and value.
Right.
This doesn't make sense, guys, and y'all are used to it. And then instead of, because Democrats are not saying, I want to take your right, I want to take your rights. They're saying, I want to give you what you deserve. And instead of us banding together against these large corporations and billionaires who outweigh us for money 10,000 to 1, instead of us banding together, we're turned against each other for what? For what? You sitting here arguing with me to allow health insurance companies to continue to rob you blind and then turn around and get money from the government to keep doing it too. It's ridiculous.
Right. It is what it is, and they don't seem to understand that. But thank you, sir. Thank you. We want to continue with the program, but I appreciate it. I appreciate you liking it. Y'all like the stream, please.
Make sure y'all like the stream, like the live, like what she got going on. I appreciate you having me on and everything.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. We'll be back to our regular scheduled programming. Thank you very much. I appreciate y'all. Let's see what she got to say.
It more of, like I said, a political stunt. And it certainly is actually a moot point, given that oversight is already releasing many of those files. As a matter of fact, I believe they've done tens of thousands of them, but I believe this morning they did another 20,000 files. So they are being released, and this all seems for naught. But with that, Mr. Speaker, I would like to yield 1 minute to the gentleman from California.
Gentleman from California is recognized for 1 minute.
Mr. Speaker, Jimmy Fallon offered Democrats this pro tip. If you're going to call it the Republican shutdown, you're not supposed to get mad that it's ending. Anyone who remembers their schoolhouse rock knows that once the House originates an appropriation, the Senate must either amend it or pass it. Now, the House did its job on September the 19th with a simple appropriation that made no policy changes. It merely kept the government operating at current levels while we finished debating priorities. Democrats deliberately blocked the Senate from acting, demanding $1.5 trillion of new spending as a ransom. Finally, thank God, 8 of them put country ahead of party and voted to end this madness. Now, hearing the bitter recriminations from our leftist colleagues, it seems unlikely we'll see much bipartisanship today. But with or without them, we will reopen the government tonight and get back to addressing the challenges that confront our country. I yield back.
Gentleman from Massachusetts with 11 minutes remaining on his side, 9 minutes on the majority side.
Mr. Speaker, I'm surprised that the gentlelady brought up the UC request, but I'm glad she did, because I want the record to be clear. I didn't hear any objection on the floor. The Republican chair basically ruled it as an improper UC request, and so that is why it didn't move forward. And but I do know this, because I'm on the Rules Committee, and I do know the gentlelady time and time again voted against releasing the Epstein files. And I know my Republican friends are hoping that they don't have to go on record because they don't want to get Trump upset at them. But the bottom line is every single Republican will go on record, and you will have to make clear whether you're on the side of a pedophile or whether you're on the side of the victims.
Gentleman from Massachusetts is reminded to direct his comments to the chair, please.
Oh, sorry, y'all. Sorry.
You now yield 1 minute to the gentlewoman from Washington, Ms. Jayapal.
Gentlelady from Washington is recognized for 1 minute.
Mr. Speaker, I rise to oppose this bill that allows health insurance premiums for 22 million American families to skyrocket and raises healthcare costs for everyone. Trump and his Republican cult of followers in Congress have unleashed shameful crisis of cruelty and corruption on the American people. First, they slashed Medicaid by $1 trillion, kicked 15 million Americans off of health care, set up the playboard for rural hospitals to shutter, all so that you could give $7 trillion in permanent tax breaks to their billionaire buddies. Then they refused to negotiate with Democrats to extend the Affordable Care Act tax credits so that 22 million Americans wouldn't have to choose between health care and rent. And when we refused to go along with that, They caused this 45-day Republican shutdown, illegally refused to pay SNAP benefits for the hungry, and illegally canceled flights, throwing the country into chaos. Trump and Republicans want to make you poorer and sicker. While Trump builds his gilded ballrooms, protects pedophiles, pardons those who buy his meme coins, and lets Americans starve. Shame on you. I'm a hell no on this bill.
Gentlelady from Minnesota.
Mr. Speaker, I yield 2 minutes to the gentleman from Tennessee.
Gentleman from Tennessee is recognized for 2 minutes.
Mr. Speaker, I rise today to oppose the Senate's provision that allows senators to make financial gain off illegal government surveillance. 3 things can be true at once.
Listen to what he's saying. This is what they have in this bill. It's not a clean CR. This is what they got in the bill, what the Republicans put in the bill.
Once, Mr. Speaker. The first truth is this: the shutdown has to end. The American people and countless Tennesseans I represent are suffering and experiencing real pain. This record-breaking Schumer Democratic shutdown was completely avoidable, and it was completely carried out for political purposes. The second truth is that the last administration, led by Joe Biden and his auto pen, unfairly surveilled conservatives and conservative members of Congress. That included sitting United States senators. Yet, Mr. Speaker, the third thing I would note is that the American taxpayer has suffered enough because of the last administration. No one in this body should support allowing senators to sue and collect from taxpayers because the FBI went rogue under President Biden. But don't get me wrong, the overreach is more than troubling. It's unfathomable that the Department of Justice was weaponized in this way. I fully support holding those radical agents accountable and the ongoing investigations into their misdeeds. Yet no elected official should profit from the political calculation of left-wing bureaucrats and judges. Mr. Speaker, the folks I represent are still reeling from historic Bidenflation, the effects of the border crisis, and the regulatory agenda of the last administration. It is shameful to ask them to shoulder the burden of paying U.S. senators $500,000 or more for those misdeeds. With that, I yield back, Mr. Speaker.
Gentleman from Massachusetts.
Mr. Speaker, I yield 1 minute to the gentleman from Texas, Mr. Green.
Gentleman from Texas is recognized for 1 minute.
And still I rise, Mr. Speaker. I rise to call to my colleagues' attention that they are no longer claiming that this is a clean CR. The truth is that it is a dirty, filthy, stealthy CR that has been contaminated with millions of dollars for people who have not earned it, but rather who want to take it from the taxpayers of this country because they have concluded somehow that they have been harmed when no harm has been proven or brought to our attention.
That's what he said. He's not saying, he's saying they say no clean CR. This is what I've been saying. It's not a clean CR. They lied. The Republicans lied.
I believe that health care for all is important because we in the Congress have the best health care in the world. Yet people with the best health care in the world do not see fit for persons who need it, who are among the least, the last, and the lost, to acquire health care, something that they have. Health care is becoming wealth care for too many people in this country. We need to extend the subsidies. We need to make sure that everybody who can get to a doctor gets care.
Jim, Michael Bivens, I think you're a tard. I just think you're a tard. You act like you don't understand what the Republican said, the last Republican. You act like you're a tard. I think you are a tard. I think you're special on the spectrum, on the low end of the spectrum where people throw rocks and where you eat grass. Just stupid for no reason.
This is not a poor country. I refuse to take a poison pill and have you tell me that I'll regurgitate it next week. The poison pill.
Gentleman's time has expired. Gentlelady from Minnesota reserves. Gentleman from Massachusetts.
I inquire how many more speakers the gentlelady has, because she doesn't seem to have very many.
I believe we have one more, Mr. Speaker.
All right, we have several. Mr.
That's
Speaker,
great.
I yield 1 minute to the gentlewoman from New York, Mr. Ocasio-Cortez.
Young lady from New York.
Instead of the MAGAs who come over here and say something about Democrats or Republicans, instead of coming over here and saying, okay, that's kind of fucked up what the Republicans did, but you guys lost. That's kind of fucked up what the Republicans did, and they should have passed a clean CR. Instead of the Republicans or MAGAs or whoever coming over here and saying that, they come over here caping for the rich people. And these motherfuckers ain't even rich. You can't tell me the motherfuckers in this chat are rich and they over here caping for the rich people. On their knees for the rich people instead of being for the poor people that just got screwed out of healthcare, or the poor people that just got screwed out of millions of dollars by this bill that just passed because they threw in a contingency. They threw in a little caveat saying Republicans can get millions of dollars if they sue the American government. Just so they could. Just so they could. And they over here caping for the rich people. Just over here caping for no reason. And then you got tards like Michael Bivens, who act like he done closed his ears, act like he got shit in his ears. Aaron, we're not talking about the insurance company. Honey, don't make me call you a tard too. Who lost their health care? Lord have mercy.
Mark is recognized for 1 minute.
It is great. It is great that Democrats have a line of people who are willing to fight for working class Americans from coast to coast in this country, because God forbid that we have a member of the Republican caucus who stands up and actually wants to extend the Affordable Care Act so that.
Hold on.
Conservative.
Hold on.
Lose the midterms and we lose 2028, some in this room are going to prison, myself included.
Wait a minute. Let's play it again for the tards in the back. Michael Bivens.
Lose the midterms and we lose 2028, some in this room are going to prison, myself included. They're not going to stop.
Of course they ain't gonna stop. You know I gotta keep that.
People with cancer, insulin, and issues across all sorts of healthcare issues across this country have their health insurance protected and extended throughout 2026. It is unconscionable that what we are debating right now is legislation that will give 8 members of the United States Senate over $1 million apiece. And we are robbing people of their food assistance and of their health care to pay for it.
To pay for it. Yes. You said, what did he say? Did he say low IQ? Yeah, okay. Oh, okay. You're a zombie.
How is this even on the floor? How can we, as members of Congress, Republican or Democrat, vote to enrich ourselves by stealing from the American people? That is what this legislation does. In fact, Senator Graham just went before the press earlier today saying he was going to seek well over $1 million from the American people from this. We cannot support it and we cannot stand for it. Thank you.
One of the people that are in the bill, that is in the bill that they just passed, he is one of the 8 senators that can sue the American government. He just went on record in the halls of Congress saying he's going to sue for a couple $1 million. He's already about to weaponize the government and get our money. I don't understand what's going on. I'm trying to get you maggots to stand up and hold your people accountable. I'm trying to get you maggots to stand up and hold your Republicans accountable. What the hell? Yeah, you're a zombie. Don't be mad. If your feelings hurt, I don't care.
His time expired. Young lady from Minnesota.
Your feelings should be hurt. You should have hurt feelings all around. Seeing as how you got scammed, a scammer took your money by the name of Trump. A scammer took your money and then gave your money to other scammers, other rich people. A rich scammer gave your money, you poor dumb toaster. A rich scammer took your money and gave it to other rich people. You should have hard feelings.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And I just wanted to point out to some of my colleagues that, you know, the Democrat government shutdown stopped the SNAP benefit. So if they were very concerned about those, about making sure that people had their nutritional assistance, they wouldn't have shut down the government, because that is what caused it. And with that, Mr. Speaker, I yield.
I don't know. He looked wild as hell to me, Peter. Every time I look at him, he looked wild as hell.
1 minute to the gentleman from Texas.
Gentleman is recognized for 1 minute.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It was great to hear from the new leader of the Democrat Party, Mrs. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Unfortunately, we didn't also get to hear from their other leader, Mr. Zoran Mamdani. Mr. Speaker, I'm going to be proud this evening to vote to reopen the federal government.
House will be in order.
Mr. Speaker, for 40 days, the Democrats shut our government down to pursue unrealistic policy proposals that they know the American people do not want. Mr. Speaker, the American people do not want health care for illegal aliens. They do not want our tax dollars funding left-wing media outlets, and they do not want to drive up our debt $1.5 trillion as part of a short-term continuing resolution. Mr. Speaker,
I don't understand it, Luke Skywalker. I don't understand it. The Republicans have no pushback. That's why they cannot govern us. They cannot govern a country as complex, as rich, and as enlightened as this country. They cannot govern people, a people as such as we are. We are a complex ecosystem of ages, races, genders. We are a complex thing. And the Republicans don't seem to understand that. And they only care about one thing, the rich white man at the top. They never concern themselves about the rest of the body that makes and encompasses this beautiful country. That's the problem. That is the problem right there.
40 days have been nothing but pure political nihilism, and I'm glad that this nightmare is over so that we can get back to work on behalf of the American people.
I keep saying it, but please, you all hit the like button, the subscribe button, the share button. You know, we trying to do some things over here. We love to have this kind of content. So wrong. Michael Bivens, I'm done talking to you because you don't seem to understand regular grammar or English or anything to do with the law or Congress. So you need to be quiet. Sit back in the back seat and just do what you do when you did in high school. It's copy somebody else's notes. Shut your ass up.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield back.
Gentleman from Massachusetts. Gentleman from Massachusetts.
I reserve.
Gentleman reserves his time. Gentlelady from Minnesota.
Reserve.
Reserves. Who seeks time?
Mr. Speaker, let me first of all just say to the gentlelady, this is Republican shutdown. It didn't need to happen. All you need to do is extend the ACA tax credit so that people wouldn't get screwed on their health insurance bills. But I also point out to her that the President of the United States illegally withheld SNAP benefits. And two federal judges, basically two court orders, backed us up on that. And he's the first president ever in history to actually shut off food benefits to people during a shutdown. Shame on him. I now yield 1 minute to the gentleman from California, Mr. Khanna.
Gentleman from California is recognized for 1 minute.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, our country is at a moral crossroads. Just today,
we've been at a moral crossroad ever since we elected this person who does not know how to govern, and a body of people who have no care or regard for this complex system we call the United States of America. This is the problem. We have been in topsy-turvy since this man got elected. Tell me I'm lying. Tell me I'm lying. Tell me that every day we have awakened to something weird, new, sexist, racist, crazy, misogynistic, illegal, every day since this president has become president. Nobody should be dealing like that. We should have a calm, cool road. We are the most dynamic country on this planet. We are the richest country on this planet. And every time we turn around, we can't afford this. We can't afford that. We always running into trouble. We always talking about the president. The president is always in the news. I'd be glad when we don't have to look at no president. Ever, every day. I'd be glad when we ain't got to look at a president every day.
$1 trillion, more than 50% of Americans combined. And what does the president do? He decides he doesn't have the money for the American people. He's going to starve the American people to give $40 billion to the corrupt libertarian leader in Argentina. $9 billion would have fed the American people. How is that America first? And then he says, I don't care about the cab driver who's paying $2,600 now per month in health insurance, as opposed to $44, because I don't want to save the 20 million Americans who are going to face high premium increases. How is that America first? We need national health insurance in this country. We need to tax billionaires in this country. We need to fund SNAP in this country, and we need to stop funding Argentina and corrupt foreign leaders.
Gentlelady from Minnesota.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And I just wanted to address for just a second the healthcare issue that the Democrats continue to bring up and act like this had anything to do with everyone in the country's premiums, because we are talking about the COVID era Affordable Care Act's COVID era subsidies. So this is not what is affecting other people's premiums, other than those folks that qualify for those COVID era premium subsidies. That's it. They continue to make it sound like this is responsible for every kind of increase that people are seeing. And so the Affordable Care Act's original subsidies will remain in place. So that's the original subsidies, ensuring that millions still qualify for the income-based tax credits and capping out-of-pocket costs relative to income. It's the COVID era. I can't say that enough. It is the COVID era subsidies that are in question here. Premium increases are actually driven by multiple factors, including medical inflation, provider consolidation, and rising drug costs.
And don't forget that the Republicans repealed the individual mandate, and the individual mandate is what was the driving factor in order for the ACA to get high like it did, because we didn't have healthy people in the exchanges. And when you didn't have healthy people in the exchanges, that meant all the high-risk people were in the exchanges, which meant they were going to raise the prices. That's what happened. Republicans, y'all do know the Republicans fought to get your medical debt back on your credit report, right? So it will go back on your credit report. You do know that, right? Because of the Republicans.
But to actually reduce premiums, that's what we must address. And we must have comprehensive discussions about that, not just political theater and sound bites. We have to actually sit down and have those discussions, and that's what getting the government back open will do. I reserve.
Gentlelady reserves her time. Gentleman from Massachusetts.
Mr. Speaker, the ACA polls at 65%. Donald Trump is at 37%. I now yield 1 minute to the gentlewoman from Massachusetts, Ms. Presley.
Gentlelady from Massachusetts is recognized for 1 minute.
Speaker, I rise today on behalf of every elder.
Thank you all. Please hit the like, subscribe, and share button. We appreciate it. We have this content over here every day, except when HQ is sick. But we normally have this content over here every day. We have the fun, the laughter. We talk about daily events, things that are happening, all of these good things. So please hit the like and the subscribe and the share. I appreciate it. I appreciate all of y'all, even you MAGAs. Even you MAGAs.
who can't afford their prescription, every parent who went to work hungry so their child could eat. In the United States of America, there is no lack of resource, only a deficit of empathy, political will, and courage. At its best, government is a backstop, a compassionate steward of the public good. At its best, government catches people when they stumble in a moment of hardship. At its best, government does right by the people, all the people. Struggle does not discriminate, Mr. Speaker. Hardship is not a character flaw and has zero to do with work ethic. Every single person is one diagnosis, one layoff away from hardship. Life can change at an instant. What we are bearing witness to is not only a lack of political courage, but it is a fundamental betrayal of the people. Incompetence and indifference to the suffering of our constituents and our neighbors. The shame and the sham of it all. Any member of Congress who would vote to deny a child a meal or medication, it is child abuse and neglect. I ought to file a 51A on you for that. Every person in this chamber, every person in our country has lost a loved one to cancer, and yet you would vote to deny people life-saving cancer treatment and research. Republicans control the House, the Senate, and the White House, and with the majority, you have chosen to enact harm to make people hungrier, poorer, sicker, and less safe. The shame and the shame of it all. You, the people, deserve better. We, the people, deserve better, and I won't stop fighting until you get it.
Gentlelady from Minnesota.
Prepared to close.
Gentlelady's prepared to close. She has 4 minutes remaining. Gentleman from Massachusetts.
Yeah, I'm not. So I'd like to yield 1 minute to the gentleman from Wisconsin, Mr. Pocan.
Gentleman from Wisconsin is recognized for 1 minute.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Yes, the federal government will officially reopen with the House vote today. But here's what won't happen. We won't protect the 22 million people paying more for the Affordable Care Act, or the 15 million people losing their health care outright due to Republican actions in the big ugly law, nor will we stop the health care rate increases for everyone in this country. And we won't be restoring food assistance today for millions of Americans who benefit from SNAP because House Republicans voted to cut the #1 program that keeps kids and seniors out of poverty by over $180 billion. Nor will we be able to roll back the tax cuts for billionaires and your GOP donors that you funded by gutting those health care and food programs. But I sure hope you're tanned and rested after your 8-week paid vacation, because you're going to need it. Democrats are going to continue fighting every single day for people's health care and food benefits, and we're going to be on you day after day until we get it done. Vote no. I yield back.
They scamming us out of money. They're all, you all know, we can admit this, that the Democrats started this shutdown. The Democrats started this. They started it because they wanted those healthcare subsidies to continue. They wanted Medicare and Medicaid to continue. So they stopped the government. Then Donald Trump went to court 2 times, not once, 2 times, to stop from paying people food stamps. At that particular point, it became the Republicans. At that particular point, it became the Republicans shut down. Donald Trump went to court 2 times to stop paying out food stamps. And then after 40 days and 40 nights, the Democrats cave. After 40 days and 40 nights, the Republicans kept saying, this is a clean CR. We had a clean CR. And the Democrats keep voting against the clean CR. 14 times they voted for a clean CR. On the 15th time, the Democrats caved. Weak, spineless motherfuckers. The Democrats caved. And when they did cave for this bill, the Republicans snuck in a provision that pays 8 senators millions of taxpayer dollars. Millions of taxpayer dollars. At this point, it's the Republicans shut down because they had this planned all along. They had this plan sticking this money into the bill all along. In the middle of the night. They know people don't read the bill. It's the Democrats' fucking fault for not reading the bill. But they snuck it in the middle of the night after telling the American people that they would be passing a clean CR. Now we're having a vote right here, right now, with the Republicans and the Democrats. The Republicans in the House said this is a shitty bill and we don't want to vote for it, but we're going to have to. We don't want to, but we're going to have to. In closed session, Democrats are fighting against this bill because it has the 8 senators who are going to get millions of dollars from the U.S. government. Just like Trump demanded that the U.S. government pay him $230, these 8 senators are demanding that the government pay them millions. They are scamming us for money. Specifically, the Republicans right now are scamming us for money. This is why everybody is up in arms about this freaking bill. That's where we're at right now.
Gentleman yields back his time. Gentlelady from Minnesota with 4 minutes.
Served our country in uniform.
What
This
the
bill
hell?
does not live up to that promise. You know, Republicans need to stop taking photographs with veterans and then vote against their health.
He's talking about white immigrants, Peter. White immigrants.
Care. Those who lead in the appropriations process here believe in the constitutional power of the purse. And over the past month, President Trump has been firing federal workers en masse. And when his administration has failed there, they have made life so miserable for federal workers that they had no choice but to leave. Federal workers should be, and I quote, traumatically affected. Those are the words.
I don't even know. I see a damn representative with purple hair. Is it the Crypt Keeper? What's going on? What? Purple? What? Wait a minute, hold up. Why can't I be a representative? I will come in there with a little bit of decorum. I don't know who that is. She got purple hair. What the hell is going on? Wow.
Words of the Office of Management
and those big ass goofy glasses.
and Budget Director Russ Vought, an unelected bureaucrat.
What the hell is
the federal workforce has dwindled by 200,000 since January, jeopardizing the public services that so many people rely on. Spare us your false concern. And since January, this administration has been stealing from our community.
I'm not judging. I just turned it back on here and a lady with purple hair was on the screen. How she got purple hair in the freaking in the chamber, in the House of Representatives? Well, I didn't know they could do that. I didn't know they could do that. Well, okay.
Communities withholding as much as $410 billion in funding.
I mean, it's kind of it's kind of weird. I mean, sort of cute, sort of.
Approved by Democrats and Republicans, House, Senate, signed into law, and they are illegally blocking authorized funds from being distributed. Even now, as we debate this bill, the Trump administration is arguing to the Supreme Court that they should be allowed to withhold food stamp funding.
Wait, whoa. I thought that the food stamps got released. So the food stamps didn't get released? The bulk of the food stamps getting released? They back in court saying they don't want to pay food stamps? Wow.
That Congress lawfully approved. They were ordered by 3 separate courts to distribute food assistance and are still fighting to withhold it. It is not connected to opening this government. They have the money. They have it now for food stamps. They just refuse to use it. Imagine using food as a political weapon, unspeakable and immoral. It seems like their only plan is to strip children of food assistance while kicking their parents off their health insurance. They have demonstrated that that is who they are. These are their true colors. You cannot expect Democrats to go along with any bipartisan funding deal if that agreement can be undone.
Then why did the goddamn Democrats cave in the Senate? You know what they are. You know the Republicans cannot govern. They don't care about the people. They care about rich donors. They don't care about the people. Why would you give in to them then?
With a party line vote. Congress must assert its authority over.
No, me being under the weather ain't causing me to insult nobody. Just because you man, no. Don't start that. I'm just halfway where I need to be. Wait till I'm where I need to be. You will get insulted more if you come over here and start caping for rich people. Stop caping for rich people.
Over the power of the purse. I encourage my colleagues to vote no, and I reserve the balance of my time.
The gentlelady reserves. The gentleman from Oklahoma is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I yield 1 minute to our distinguished majority leader, the gentleman from...
You right, Jeb. 2 million people, registered Democrats, sat at home. I bet you they ass won't sit at home no more. I bet you they won't sit at home no more, because this is the worst corrupt, the worst manipulative, the worst run administration that we have ever seen. We did not realize that we were going to have what we got. We did not realize that we were going to have what we got. I like people who like to insult. You know what? You keep playing with me, Peter, and I'm going to clear my desk. And I'm going to focus on you. And when I focus on you, I'm going to hurt your feelings.
Louisiana, Mr. Scalise.
The gentleman from Louisiana is recognized for 1 minute.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank my friend, the Chairman of the Appropriations, Mr. Cole from Oklahoma, for not only yielding, but for bringing this important bill to the floor. Our appropriators worked tirelessly to negotiate a multi-bill package that is part of this bill to reopen the government. And we never should have been here, Mr. Speaker. We tried as Republicans over a...
You don't, I'm not hurting your feelings. You MAGAs have alligator skin. All you care about is hate, hate, hate. You hate the gays, you hate the trans, you hate the Dems, you hate the libs, you hate the brown, you hate the black, you hate the immigrants, you hate immigration. You hate, 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 hate. That's all y'all do is hate. We can't hurt your feelings. That's all you do is hate. That's why you can't govern effectively. That's why Republicans cannot govern effectively, because you only deal in the negative. You never deal in the positive. That's what was rejected on Tuesday. You never deal in the positive. It's always negative. It's always what Biden did it, or instead of focusing on what happened today. Your representatives stole money from the American people, and I ain't heard not one of you maggots say anything about your side stealing money from the people. That's all I've heard you say is insult Biden, insult gays, insult anybody else, me included. You ain't never gonna hurt my feelings. You've only insulted and hurt people's feelings, and you have never once stood up to your established Republicans. Not once. And yet they just stole money from all of us. All of us.
A month ago to prevent a government shutdown. We had a vote here on the House floor. 99% of Republicans voted to keep the government open, and 99% of Democrats voted to shut it down. And then that bill went over to the Senate, and we watched for 42 days where time and time again, Democrats, just to appease their most radical base, continued to vote in unison to shut the government down. And during that shutdown, we saw millions of families experience pain, Mr. Speaker, pain and suffering that Democrats themselves acknowledged that they imposed on the American people. But they said over and over again, we have quote after quote from Democrats during the shutdown, that they needed to impose the suffering to get leverage, Mr. Speaker, to use the American people as pawns to get leverage. For what? For what? They ultimately filed an alternative bill, $1.5 trillion mad spending spree that included things like $200 billion of taxpayer funding for illegals. to get taxpayer benefits while they gutted the $50 billion rural health care fund that we put in place in the working families tax cut. So, Mr. Speaker, anybody who comes up here and says they care about health care, they were also advocating to gut the $50 billion rural health care fund to provide $200 billion in taxpayer-funded health care benefits for illegals. It's insanity. And if you really want to
see, and we're past this illegal thing. Everybody knows that's a lie. Everybody who's been listening knows it's a lie, because the first lie out of their mouth was Democrats want to give illegal people health care. That's not the truth, and everybody knows that's not the truth. Only the people that ain't been paying attention, only the slow people who get D's and F's on their paper believes this illegal stuff. We understand what the illegal thing is. Right now, we're focusing on the fact that the Republicans slipped into the bill $1 million payday for 8 senators, which means they're going to steal our money, us American taxpayers' money. They're going to borrow money to pay these dudes this payoff. Borrow money to give these people payoffs.
Relentlessly to shut this government down and impose this suffering on the American people to stop. Stop imposing the suffering. Let's open the government. Let's get back.
No, don't. Rudy, you don't have to explain. We understand what you're doing. Because the whole point is you guys never say what you're for. You never say what you're for. You always come over here and say, I hate the gays, the trans, the browns, the black, immigration, all that. You say, I hate all of these things, but you never say what you're for. The 4 things I'm for: elderly, handicapped, disabled, veterans. Any party that says that they're going to help those people and mean it, those are the people that I'm going to vote for. The Republicans have said that. What do you stand for? You guys never come up with what you stand for or what you want, how you want this country to move forward. It's always some bullshit. Always some bullshit. It's always, I hate. Oh, they try to get boys in my bathroom. Oh, they try to get trans on the exercise team, knowing full well you ain't never met no trans. Why would that even affect your thinking when it comes to voting? That's what I'm saying. Illegal immigrants. We don't like illegal immigrants. Immigrants ain't bothering you one way or the other. You're going to be poor regardless of whether we had immigrants in this country or not. You're going to be a dumb toaster even if you had immigrants in this country or not. And the kids and the poor kids. See, I know what I stand for. I know what I want to stand up for. You Republicans, you MAGAs, don't never want to stand up for anything. That's why I don't have respect for the Republicans, because you never stand for something. It's always against something.
To the work of the American people. I yield back the balance of my time.
The gentleman from Louisiana yields back.
1 million Americans. USD had the chance to do the right thing and use designated contingency funds, but rejected it. And when ordered to do so by the courts, they fought all the way to the Supreme Court to keep hungry families from receiving food. America produces the highest quality, safest, most affordable, and abundant food, fiber, and medicine anywhere in the world. To that end, this bill provides many welcome investments. It fully funds SNAP and WIC, replenishes the SNAP and WIC contingency funds, and fully funds cash value vouchers for fruits and vegetables for women and children. It also helps rural America by providing $1 billion in single-family direct home loans, $120 million over the House level, and funding water and wastewater programs at $446 million, both issues that Democrats tried to address in full committee. The bill provides $1.8 billion for the Agricultural Research Service, $1.6 billion for NIFA, protecting farmers, small businesses, and families against President Trump's budget request to eliminate land-grant university research and extension activities across the country. I'm pleased to see that the bill language requires...
You would think that would be the case, Natural. You would think that would be the case. You would think that people, that Trump being in office would show everyone that this person is not for the poor person. This person is for the rich person. There's nothing wrong with Trump. There's nothing wrong with him. He's just doing what he's been doing. People are just letting him do this stuff. He's always been for the rich. He just convinced the goofies out there that he was for them. Anybody put in the chat for me, please, what the big beautiful bill did for people who make between 30 and 150K. Please put in the chat what that big beautiful bill did for anybody between those income ranges. I would be more than curious to find out. And please don't say tax on tips, tax on overtime. Please don't say that.
USDA to notify Congress before canceling grants over $1 million. The agricultural portion of this bill does make positive steps in the right direction. The bill discards many of the harmful policy riders, which in the House bill, yet it does not go far enough to negate House language falsely questioning the safety of mifepristone and encouraging FDA to explore liability protections for certain infant formula manufacturers.
We have not gotten that answer yet. It's always about taxes and tips. But yet and still, we gave billions of dollars away to the rich people. And nobody wants to give us that $2,000 that we've been talking about. Nobody wants to give us that. Hey, Aaron. Hey, Aaron.
Hey, how are you?
What's happening? How you doing?
I'm doing well. Doing well. Thanks for asking. How are you?
What do you think about the happenings that's going on right now?
I mean, you know me. Every bird has two wings. One on the left side of his ass and one on the right side of his ass. That's what's happening.
Now we're really getting took to the clean. You know that they put that they instead of passing that clean CR, they passed that bill with that provision, right?
Yeah, I mean, look, hey, there's an ebb and flow to this thing, and there always has been and always will be. See, one thing I understand as a businessman is ebb and flow. And politics is no different. It's even in science. Do you know how electricity gets to your house? It's an ebb and flow. There's a tug, and that's why they have AC, alternating current. There's a this and that. There's a tug, a back and forth. This has to be. My question, I really just wanted to ask, when you said, and please don't say anything about no tax on tips, why isn't that a valid? I mean, you want, you know me, again, I'm in the middle, right? I don't care about either side, but if you're asking for a policy that they support and then they say no tax on tips because that's what they're promoting, why doesn't it qualify?
No, I'm saying the tax on tips. The tax on tips is for a limited amount of people. Although it's a good amount, it's that one doesn't do anything for people like me or any other regular average person because most people don't make tips. It's a subset of the regular normal working people. So you set that aside. So then we have the tax on overtime.
So you know what else? You know what else doesn't really affect people like you and me? Welfare, EBT, SNAP, home, housing vouchers. See, people that work for tips are in that class of individual. These are the people that are in need. The difference is they are actually willing to go out and work. When you work for tips, that's the most incentive-based labor you can find. It's right up there under commission-based.
Oh no, I'm not denigrating them at all.
I know you're not. I know you're not denigrating. What I'm saying is that is an extremely viable policy to want to support because these are people, unlike those who are getting welfare. These are people who actually are earning money by doing work, and we're alleviating their tax burden because the money that they're getting, the ratio of the money that they're getting as compared to the labor that they're doing, puts them in a class of those who need welfare, whom many of which aren't even contributing to society. SNAP benefits don't necessarily, you don't have to qualify by earning money, you have to qualify by not earning a certain amount of money. But when you earn tips, it's because you did more of something. So why would we tax them? That's a very,
No,
very
no,
valid.
I'm not at all having an issue with that. But see, here's the thing, and I can't get around it. Taxing on tips is going to cost them way less than if they don't have Medicare and Medicaid and those subsidies, which is where that class hits. Most of those people who make those tax and tips are the people in that $15,000 to $30,000 range. So they're
Right,
going to
understood.
hit
Yeah,
more.
they, of course, yeah, yeah, of course, 100%. They need healthcare, right? And that's not, that's real. I think we agree there, right? Like when we're having an argument about feeding the kids, I'm not saying starve out the kids, right? I'm just saying have a reason for the money we're paying, paying into. There should be some sort of a proof of a return. What I'm saying is, why isn't no tax on tips a valid policy to want to champion from the other side? If you're saying you want Republicans to come up, instead of saying, I hate this, I hate that, you want them to say, I'm pro something. But then when they go, I'm pro no tax on tips, you just admitted how noble of a policy that is. Why can't they use that? That's the question I'm asking.
No, I'm not saying that they can't. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying, it benefits it benefits a group of people. That's great.
In need.
It's that group of people. So
In
therefore,
need.
the rest of the people.
No, in need. You got to add that caveat. A small group of people in need, and then there's a secondary caveat: whom are working. So if I'm sorry, I'm sitting here making fish tacos. If you're saying that you champion the policy for people who are in need, who aren't working, welfare, SNAP, and things like that, then the other side should be able to be valid in championing a policy that helps out people in need who are working.
I'm not saying that I'm saying I get all of that. I understand all of that. But on one hand, you're giving them something, you're giving them the tax on tips on one hand, but you're devastating them on the other if they don't have medical insurance.
That's a different conversation. What you said was, when you're looking for people who support the Republican Party to come up with a policy that they support, you rejected the idea of tax on tips. Now, if you're saying because it's offset by another policy that same party is coming up with, that's fine, but that doesn't remove the nobility in that particular policy that they may support. That's essentially, that's up to them and their party to get that other thing that you're talking about, to offset the nobility and what they want. That's up to them to get that together, right? Just like there's people in the Democratic Party who support the Democratic Party but aren't happy with all of their policies. There's people who are pissed with the Democratic Party, but they're Democrats, and it's up to them to say, "Hey, man, you're fucking up the game," right? But at the same time, if that's what's attaching them to their party, that's still a valid argument. That's all I'm saying.
Right. I mean, I get that. I do. But I'm looking at giving me 5 on one hand and then taking away 4. Okay. I'm looking at it that way. So
Yeah, no, but because that's not your party, that's not your decision to make. If someone says, I'm supporting this party because I believe in this particular policy, then that, especially if it's a noble one, it's a valid policy. And then you have to ask then you would ask the question, fine, what I'm saying is, it would probably be better to acknowledge that rather than say it's invalid. And when you acknowledge it, then ask the question, what are you prepared to do to correct the other policies that offset the nobility in the policy that you support? Rather than simply saying that's not valid because you're fucking up over here in this other area. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. I get what you're saying. And maybe it should be phrased a different way. I just see it as I get that it's a positive in that way, but it's a small set of people when we have a bigger policy for the people like us, or bigger because I don't see a benefit for me. If I look at it, I don't see a benefit for me because I don't have a business making over X, Y, and Z.
Well,
and I don't qualify for food stamps or anything like that because I make too much money.
Exactly. Right. And that's exactly what I was saying. I'm glad you said that. And we agree on that, right? And I think a lot of these policies really they all serve a small subset of people. It's just that a lot of those subsets start to overlap, right? Most folks aren't on welfare. Folks don't need it. Most folks are doing just kind of okay in the middle class. Yeah, they have hard times. Sometimes you live in check to check. Sometimes you can invest in your future, right? But again, ebb and flow. But we're just kind of doing okay, right? And it's always been like that, you know? So I get what you're saying. I'm
But
just
it's
saying there's not going to be a blanket policy from either side because they're not interested in the people. They're interested in maintaining the ebb and flow, right? The back and forth, the exchange. That's how they stay in power. Whether it's left or right, it's the exchange, it's the volley, the back and forth that keeps them in power. And that's both the left and the right.
Yeah, but I also look at it like this. I also look at it, what policies do you put in place that help the most people? What policies do you put in place that help the most people?
Yeah, it would be a blend or a hybrid of policies from both sides. It's very. I'll admit it is very idealistic. It's unusually optimistic. You know what I mean? It's a utopian society we're asking for, but it's really going to look like a hybrid of all the best policies from both sides and an absence of all the worst, to be honest.
And so you cannot be, and my whole point in this is you cannot be absolutely, obviously craven in what you do, seeing as how you're supposed to represent us here, and
Yeah.
craven, this absolute craven thing that they placed inside the bill last night, that they put inside the bill is absolutely nothing that helps the American people. It helps the American people not at all. So why was it that they were tooting their horn? We're only going to pass a clean CR. We're only going to pass a clean CR. And now we have a CR that has been tainted by greed.
Well, again, I'm not here to fight your points. You make valid points. I just think they're absent of balance or the mirror point. And where you're saying they move in a craven way when they're passing these things, correct. However, the opposition, being the Democrats, move in a very deceptive way, right? When they do things, you got to admit.
No.
And I don't want to do what you say don't do. Don't make it about the other side. I know. I hear it coming.
No.
Right?
That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is I want to hit a valid point. I'm saying we're talking about this situation. I get that they move in a deceptive way. I get that the other side is how they are. I'm saying this situation was started by the Democrats. I firmly admit that. The Democrats.
Okay. Oh well. Wait. Let that marinate then, because that's important, right? Because you kind of go at the Republicans. So for you to admit that, it means a lot, right? And I'm not trying to like tether to that to make a point. I'm just saying that's good. That's a balanced. You know what I mean?
I've been admitting that the Democrats started this whole fight.
And that's kind of their thing. They like to stalemate like that, right? Okay.
But but once they started it, it was theirs. It was their shutdown.
Okay.
But then Trump went to court and sued 2 times not to give people their money.
Yeah. Well, so you can't blame the party.
And he's in court right now to still not give people their money.
So be careful.
Republicans.
Be careful not to blame a party for the doings of one person, even if that person is their champion or their mascot leader or front runner, however you want to look at it.
Republican. When I say Trump, I mean the administration.
Okay, you're isolating it to him or his administration, which really falls under
purposes. Yes, for expedition.
Okay, all right.
But
okay, well then there we can agree with at least 80 to 90% of right, and it's not even worth arguing the remaining 10-20%, right? Because that's just where the semantics lie. So I'll agree with you there.
So it was the Democrats who did it. They
Yes,
absolutely did it. They should have came up with a better solution, but
they
they
should have
didn't.
came right. They should negotiate better. Correct. Okay.
They negotiated better. They're shit negotiators.
All right.
They're
Exactly. And that great. I'm glad you again. You gotta let that marinate. That they've always have been.
I've been said that from the
Okay.
day one.
Right.
And then I
Been
said,
great.
oh, okay. So then I said, oh, okay. So Trump and the administration went to court 3 times,
Yeah.
3 times not to pay people food stamps. So
Yeah.
now it's back on the Republicans because you're actually going out there and saying, we're not giving people their money. We're not giving people their food stamps. You're actually saying that. You're actually going to
So
court to say that.
so yeah, you're right. Unfortunately, I think you just have a situation where it's up to the Republicans to go against their champion, right? Which is Trump. Because when you say
And
it's back on the Republicans, technically it is, but they got to clean up the shit that their dog left on the carpet, essentially. You
And
get what I
so,
mean?
yes, and so I say, okay, fine. It happened. It was this. It was you started it. The Republicans grabbed a hold of the mantle and started running. Okay, fine. The
You're saying it's a
Democrats,
lost
hey,
opportunity?
no, I'm saying they took the mantle and ran with it like they could have just let the Democrats own it, but they didn't.
So you're saying
They
it's a lost opportunity? They could have let the Democrats hang themselves.
yes, they could have, but they
Right.
didn't.
Okay. Okay.
Because everybody kept saying they went to court. They went to
Right.
court to not give people food stamps. So then it went against them.
Right.
Then yesterday, everybody was looking at the Democrats like, you weak. You did this for 40 days and 40 nights. You paid for nothing.
Sure.
And then what did the Republicans do today? In the middle of the night, they snuck in the bill millions of dollars that the taxpayer got to pay
Yeah.
to 8 senators when they had been hooping and hollering for the past 7 weeks. We passed a clean CR 14 times. We passed a clean CR. What happened to the
Well,
clean CR?
so just for the record, we agree up to this point, right? Like I think your thinking is balanced now. Your judgment seems to be pretty balanced. I'm not opposing you. I'm just kind of offering an answer,
Mm-hmm.
and it may seem kind of like a cop out, but one thing we know, historically speaking, and up to this day, both sides are good for sneaking things into bill. That's why they never can come to a decision. They want to sneak their own agenda in on behind shit that they can kind of sort of get past, right?
Right.
That's part of the negotiation. So I think you just have a moment where you caught the Republicans trying to sneak some shit in. The Dems are next. They do the same thing.
Can we agree on this? Those people need that insurance. So why can't you all?
People need whoa. People need care.
So
People
why?
don't need insurance. Insurance is fundamentally a vacuum or a black hole into which money goes in exchange for the idea of care.
So what should they do? So what should they have? Nothing?
Revamp that whole shit and snatch the
That's
insurance.
what I said. I
Right.
said they need to revamp all of that.
Yeah, but right, and that is really the responsibility of both sides, and I think they're refusing to do that. They're
There you
refusing
go.
to come right. So, but again, to that end, we agree.
There you go. Because I say both parties need to sit down and straighten out ACA, throw it away, do something.
Throw it out, right?
Those
Yeah.
people need to do something. You need to do something for those people. And the reason why it's really terrible is and you need to do something about pre-existing conditions. You need to do something. We cannot be giving kickbacks to the insurance companies. We need to actually give care to the people who actually.
50% of the kickbacks are going right to the insurance companies, and then another 40% of what's left is going to big pharma.
Yes, and that's what
right. So we can agree to that. They're the ones that are making money, right? And you have
we need to
with
do
that.
something. We need to do.
You got to do something about it because you got the Democrats are in big pharma's pocket and the insurance companies are in Republicans, or maybe I have it the other way around. But right, that is the ebb and flow, and that's 90% of the cost that's coming out of our pockets, whether we're sick or not.
And that's why I started this stream saying we're getting screwed by both parties.
Either way, okay. Well, you know what? Then HQ, my dear, then Fight the good fight. You know what I mean? Like now that is balance. I can get on board with that for sure.
I'm mad at both parties because you're screwing the American people.
100%.
You're paying too much for insurance. Do you know
100%.
Trump made his own prescription website? You know that, right?
Yeah, right. And see, that's getting too close to monopolization, and privatization is something that should not be in his hands, right? I don't like the way that smells already.
Going on? What in the
Right.
heck is going on?
Yeah, that should not be.
Now the president, anyway. I mean,
Especially a president.
you're making it obvious now that you're
Right.
trying to profit off of X, Y, and Z.
Right. I expect that from him as a tycoon,
Right.
but as a president, yeah, no, you're right.
That's wild. When I heard that, I said, that's no, something is wrong. So no, that's how I started the live stream, Aaron. That's where I'm at.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, no, I'm with you. Like I said, I just wanted to get in when you said with that, just that one piece. I'm like, wait a minute, these are the people, these are the salt of the earth, people in need. You know what I mean? Like, it's a valid argument. But everything else you said today, 90%, 99%, I'm on board. You know, and what's left isn't worth arguing. So
Yes. There you go.
yeah. All right, my dear. We'll continue to stream. I'm gonna jump back in the cloud and keep listening. All right, the good fight.
Thank you, sir. I want to
All
see
right.
what the vote is like. Thank you,
All
sir.
right.
Thank you very
Yep.
much.
Take care.
All right, here we are. Where we at?
Gentleman from Oklahoma reserves. The gentlelady from Connecticut is recognized.
Mr. Speaker, I yield 1 minute to the gentlewoman from Ohio, the distinguished ranking member of the Energy and Water Subcommittee, Ms. Capter.
The gentlelady from Ohio is recognized for 1 minute.
I thank the ranking member for yielding, Congresswoman DeLauro. Congress today should vote for affordable health insurance for Americans and reduce its rising costs. Instead, in the dead of night, 8 Senate Republicans slipped into this bill a payola for themselves, literally raking millions of dollars to themselves. This payola is called corruption. Corruption. Millions of taxpayer dollars now are slated for Senators Graham, Hagerty, Hawley, Sullivan, Tuberville, Johnson, Loomis, and Blackburn. Each is teed up to personally rake in a minimum of $500,000 up to $1.5 million. Meanwhile, the American people need more affordable health insurance, but these senators with their House allies are lining their own pockets. I say no more tax breaks to billionaires and no payoff